What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here, and welcome to Betrayer. This is a game that popped up on Steam yesterday. It is a first-person stealth shooter slash puzzle game. Not so much puzzle, I guess. It's more of a whodunit is really what it is. It is fantastic. I've been playing this game for 4 hours. I would absolutely recommend this game to anyone who is into either of those two genres, okay? If you enjoyed Thief, or if you play games that are like point and clicks where you have to solve, situational puzzles and things like that, absolutely. You want to check this game out. It is totally worth it. For this title, basically, I'm just going to take you through the options menu real quick, and then we'll go into a game that I have set up for you. For those of you who are interested in just gameplay, you'll find the link in the description below. The options menu has 4 general areas. The first one's general, controls, video, and audio. General, all right. So the enemies in this game are stunningly difficult, okay? They are accurate from great distances away. They are powerful in that 4 hits to you will kill you, okay? So just as 4 hits to them will kill them, 4 hits to you will kill you. It's very realistic in that way, okay? For those of you who have trouble with that, or if for some reason you don't have the patience really to play it as a stealth game, you can click on easier enemies, and that will give you an opportunity to kind of play it more in a rough and faster style, all right? Down here, one of the most important aspects of this game is that it has audio cues, okay? Things that you can literally hear through your microphone that tell you where there are clues, okay? If you have faulty headphones, or if you have a hearing impairment or something to that effect, you probably would have trouble with this game if this is unchecked, okay? By checking this, what it does is it actually puts visual cues in the world to let you know where the good stuff is, okay? So that's that. Compass, health and ammo, and show map. These are 3 things that are checked by default. If you uncheck them, the game gets significantly harder, okay? Compass obviously orients you north, south, east, and west. Map shows you, like when you pull up your map, there's like a little red circle on it to show you where you are. And then by knowing where the circle is, you can then use the compass to find the stuff that you're looking for. And then health and ammo display, that's just in the bottom right-hand corner. It actually shows you how close you are to death. Knowing that is actually fairly important given how quickly you can lose your health. So not having that checked is actually a pretty substantial thing. Over here under crosshair, there's a bunch of different ones to choose from. Again, this is a first-person stealth game, so you are going to have the opportunity to use rifles, hand pistols, and also bows and arrow to do damage. I would suggest to you that the crosshair that has a plus to it, and there's a bunch of different kinds of pluses, but I would always have a plus, and here's why. Gravity affects the arrows, okay? So what you want to do is you want to put this crosshair so that the person's head is right at the bottom of this little plus, okay? And that will allow the arrow to drop and hit them in the head. Otherwise, if you aim at their head, it will hit them in the chest, and for most enemies, that does absolutely nothing at all. So that's going to be a problem, all right? Now, let's talk about tone settings. One of the greatest parts of this game, and you'll see it when we get to the gameplay, is the visuals, all right? I think it's absolutely stunning. It is, for me, black and white and red, okay? Black and white is, the whole world is black and white, and then the red shows you points of interest, it shows you enemies, it shows you treasure chests, and things like that, okay? It's a really, really cool style and a great idea for whoever designed it. It's just a fabulous idea to help the user quickly identify all the things on the area that are of note, okay? So I can't say enough about that. However, I can understand that certain people wouldn't want to play in black and white. Maybe they find it annoying or whatever the deal is. So you can actually use the color slider in order to add normal color to the world, okay? Now you can jack this up pretty far, and it gives you a pretty vivid color palette to choose from, but, this would really bug me. I would highly recommend trying it out in black and white and red first. For most of you, you will not regret it. It's a really enjoyable experience. Light and dark just affects the shadows and things like that. And then Otherworld Game, Basically, there are two different game worlds. Okay, there's the game world that you're looking at here, which is like a daytime, and there's lots of shadows and things like that. Then there's like a night version of that. Now, I don't want to talk too much about that because really it's more of a spoiler. But if by chance you have a problem with that other darker world, you can click on this and it will brighten it pretty significantly so that you can see what you're doing. All right, so let's get out of this. Controls, keyboarding, keyboard remapping, everything is great. It works fantastically. If you were to re-keybind one of these and it conflicted with another one, it will unre-keybind the other one and then give you a little note here that says, for instance, if for some reason I change move forward to Z, it would say crouch toggle has been removed to let me know that I screwed up someplace else and I have to go and adjust. Sensitivity is for your mouse. This is the default setting and it works just fine. Smoothing. Now this is something that normally I would turn off in a game, but I actually decided to experiment with it just to see, you know, if it actually did improve things or not, and believe it or not, it does. It really helps out a lot when you are trying to adjust your shot to make sure that your arrow goes to the right place. So I would suggest trying it at first, just to see, you know, how well it works for you. Invert Y as usual. Sprint toggle. Your crouch has two different functions. You can either crouch by holding down the button, or you can hit your other button, which is the crouch toggle. Okay, that comes up a lot in the game. So crouch is very important. It requires two. Sprinting, however, is just something that, you know, sprinting is when you're traveling from one place to another. So really, you don't necessarily have to have that toggled. I have sprint attached to my middle mouse button, so it makes it a lot easier to, you know, just get where I have to go, and, you know, I can hold it down. It's not a problem for me. Video. Now, all of your usual settings, you can actually, I'll pop them up here. 720 by 576 appears to be the lowest that you can get, and then 1280 by 720 is the highest. So if you're looking for something that maybe is 1080p, it's not going to give it to you. Also, I'm going to mention it now, this game is 32-bit only, so for those of you who are on a 64-bit system, it's not going to give you any bugs or anything like that, but you're not going to get the same kind of performance that you're probably used to with your games because it's only 32. VSync I have turned off. Full screen, that's the usual stuff. Field of view. This slider actually goes up to 110 and goes all the way down to 65. I'm going to leave this here. The field of view, I don't know. It was tough. When I went all the way up to 110 and tried it there, and there was like there was this visual distortion that really just kind of bugged me. I couldn't keep it up here for too long. I mean, obviously, you know, field of view is field of view. It gives you that wide angle that you're looking for. But the other part of that is that this is a game where you have to hit people at distance with a bow and arrow while looking for a crosshair that's teeny tiny. All right, and yes, you have a zoom, but at the same time, you know, it's every little bit helps, you know. So I think 95 for me was a really good number. It's just the game feels really good, so we're gonna leave it at that. Overall, these are obviously overall graphic settings, and then there's all the anti-aliasing stuff and all this down here. I'm not gonna get into all this, but these are all the defaults. I've been messing with them a little bit just to, you know, jack them higher and lower and things like that, and they all work fine. And then audio, the music in this game really adds something. It's tremendous. It really is really good. So I have to turn it down because otherwise YouTube won't pay me. And the sound effects volume, I had that turned down. We're gonna try it right here, and hopefully it won't be too noisy or anything like that. But I need you to hear the sound effects because they're all sound cues that let you know what's going on in the game. So we kind of have to keep this a little high. Hopefully that won't interfere with your ability to hear me. All right, so here we go. Welcome to everybody who skipped ahead to gameplay. Alright, so you can see up top here we have our compass, right? And as you roll around, two things are going to happen. Obviously, it shows you north, south, east, and west. But also, if you have found any major landmarks in the area, those landmarks will appear in the compass, okay? So I'll show you some of that a little bit later. Bottom right-hand corner is health and ammo. Ammo is so important in this game, and let me tell you, you're going to be scrounging for it often, all right? So you want to sneak up and stabby whenever possible, all right? You can see I have a tomahawk. In the bottom, very bottom right, there's like a little tomahawk symbol. That is when I walk up to somebody and bonk them on the head, it's with the tomahawk. The arrows, they're precious, and the bullets are even more so. Not only that, but guns make a lot of noise, so you really don't want to use them anyway. Health, again, you're going to be taking significant damage if you get into direct combat with somebody, so you want to try and play this as stealthy as possible. It really is not a game for those, the Call of Duty players who like to jump out and be like, oh, I'm Rambo. No, this isn't the game for you, all right? The only other thing that I can think of is this HUD right here. This is my inventory, and it shows you these are the weapons that I have, and they are actually tied to 1, 2, and 3 on my keyboard. If I were to change these, like if for some reason I wanted to be Q, W, E, this would actually read Q and W and E, okay? So wherever you re-keybind to, as the help hints pop up, it actually lets you know. In order to bind these, you just have to drag it over, and then it will update. If you want to sell an item, you actually don't have to go to a store for that. You simply drag it over here to this little box. It instantly sells it and adds it to your loot, which for all intents and purposes is your coin. That's how much money you have. And then obviously these charms down here, these do a bunch of different things. This makes me a little bit faster with my reload times, and this allows me to do a little bit more damage. There's a bunch of different charms. Some of them do where you can actually creep around a little bit better, and it's harder for the bad guys to actually see you. And there's also like some other ones where you can move faster and things like that. You just have to decide whether you actually want to buy those or not. I haven't bought a thing. And I've actually found all of these things out there in the world after the first couple of levels. So, it should not be a problem picking things up. You can then sort them by charms and weapons if you want to, like if you have a laundry list here, it does help because you can pick up like 5 or 6 common pistols, and then, you might have to swap over later. Now, this game is all about 3 things, okay? The first thing is about stealth combat. You're going to have to sneak up behind people, whack them on the head, and then in the event of emergency, you're going to have to hit them with a bow and arrow at distance, or possibly a rifle/pistol, depending upon, how desperate you are. The second thing is that you are going to have to delve into the lives of the people who used to live in this area, okay? The Englanders who now are no longer here, in order to figure out what happened to them, all right? And that's a big mystery, and that's what these other 4 are going to be about. The third thing is just figuring out why all this is happening. There's a lot of supernatural things and stuff like that in the game, and you're trying to get to that overarching reason about all of this. What is behind all this? And there's multiple factions who have infringed on these people, and you have to figure out exactly who's to blame and where they are, because up until this moment at least I haven't made direct contact with any of them. So as you are wandering around the level, you will find all kinds of things. You will find stuff in the dirt. You'll find little treasure chests and all kinds of stuff. And you'll also have the opportunity to talk to things. I'm trying not to do any spoilers for you, so I don't want to really run through too much of this. But you can see each of these has a check mark when you have completely filled out all the information that there is to know about it. So when you first find, for instance, the bell, you'll just have this bell, okay? And it'll just say this first part. And then, after you put the bell back where it belongs, it will say the bell is remounted, so on and so forth. That happens for everything. So you're constantly reviewing this area in order to get to the bottom of what all is happening. Alright, people, you are going to find out about all the different people who are in the game, and it gives you full bios on all these people when you come here. Alright? Notes is a combination of different things that you find in the area. Like, for instance, you'll find diary pages that have been blown about because the town is in ruins. As you pick up the diary pages, you'll learn not only more about the lives of the people who lived here, but more about the strange happenings and what might be causing them. All of those notes are here. And then when you go into investigations, these are active investigations based on things that you talk to, and clues that you find, and things like that. Okay, these investigations, after they're complete, they get a little check mark, all right, to let you know that you're done with those. So now we're going to get into this. All right, now you can see the whole board is black and white and red. For those of you who skip forward, you can actually change that. I'm going to go back here because A, this is going to be spoiler free, okay, hopefully. And then B, I know this area extremely well. I've been over it 3 times searching for all the stuff that you need to pick up. And I know where all the bad guys spawn. Alright. So here I'm going to pull up the map. And basically, there are 4 fast travel points. So at any time, I can actually click on this as long as there's no enemies in the area, and it will take me immediately to that area. This is amazingly awesome, all right? Especially since walking from here to here could take you 10 minutes. So if you can just fast travel down this road, it's really helpful, all right? Plus, if there are enemies, by chance, then you can bypass all the enemies. But obviously, if you went this way, you were killing off the enemies as you went along. But let's say that you die, okay? 2 things happen. The first thing that happens is you drop all of your coins, okay? So then you have to go back and pick them up. If you are killed while on your way back to pick up the coins, you'll lose them all. All of them, okay? So if you pick up 800 coins, that's it. They're gone if you die before you pick them up again. So it's incredibly important for you to die in areas that are convenient to get back to. So if somebody starts coming after you, run in the other direction back towards base, or whatever you would consider base, as fast as possible, all right? So that, you know, you can then get back to your loot easier. Also, when you die, everything kind of resets. Not everything. Most of the things. So most of the enemies, most of their locations, they kind of reset. So, you know, you're going to be able to leave the area and come back to get your loot, and then go back and kind of replay the part that you just died in. You know what I mean? Alright, so let's get out of this. I think this would be easier if we went from the other edge. So we're going to go over here. This is where you first come in. Basically, it's a little nebulous at the beginning. You are an inspector sent from England to find out what's going on. You just kind of appear on a beach. There's no real explanation as to why you're on the beach or how you got there. So you kind of have to, you know, just use your imagination for that one. As you go around, you're going to find all kinds of stuff. So you can melee boxes, and then there's stuff under there. Do you see where it says can't carry at the bottom of the screen? It doesn't actually tell you what that is, which is kind of a shame. But what it means, I've been able to figure out, is that, that's the wrong one. Here in your equipment, it is one of these items, okay? Which means that you can't carry another one, is basically what that is, all right? So we'll exit out of that. It also can be something from later in the game that you just are not able to do yet. What am I doing here? All right, here we go. These are totems. They appear in various areas, and they are hooked to kind of like these side quests. You actually have to, I guess they're not side quests because you have to defeat them. But anyway, they are corrupted, and then when you uncorrupt them, it unlocks the level and allows you to move forward. This game is beautiful. It was designed in the Unreal 3 engine. I will tell you that there are some issues with like some of the lighting effects off of water and things like that. Some of them are a little wonky, but for the most part, this game is absolutely gorgeous, and it just really kind of uses, it's a flag, really kind of uses the engine well and all of its all of its major features. I think they did a really good job with this game, and it runs super smooth. Like, it doesn't tax my graphics card at all. Even with color. I played it also with color, and yeah, it's the same. Alright, now over here, this is a store. You'll find these in various areas. Basically, you can spend your loot to buy bigger, better stuff. Again, I haven't bought anything. I'm not going to tell you who that is because that's a spoiler. This is a water bucket. If you drink water, you will heal yourself, okay? And if you have a like a water flask with you, that's kind of like a health potion, so you fill it with water and then you can heal yourself on the fly. But you only get 1 heal. Over here, this is one of the things that you would be on the lookout for. Basically, what you have to do is you actually have to dig up whatever's here, but you can't just do it with anything. You have to find the shovel first, okay? So there's a lot of things that are prerequisites. You are going to have to keep a mental map in your head of, you know, like obviously you have this map, but I know that there's a burial thing here. I know that there's a burial thing here, and I also know that there's a burial thing out here that I have to get to later after I find the shovel. I'm hoping to find some combat for you because this is tricky stuff. All right, again, you can crouch. Oops. Now, while you are walking about, you make a certain amount of noise, okay? The wind in the area can actually mask your noise. So right there, the wind is blowing, and as I run, you really can't hear anything. That's how you can kind of like bum rush somebody. If you have like two enemies and you have to hit them both, if the wind happens to go at that moment and their backs are to you, you can kind of run out there, bonk them both in the head, and then, you know, that's a way to clear it quickly. The rest of the time, what you're going to be doing is you're actually going to be just kind of crouched down, and if you sprint, you uncrouch, but you just kind of crouch down, and you want to hide in the shadows, okay? And then as bad guys pass nearby you, you want to wait for the opportune moment to run out and hit them from behind. I'm really hoping I find some, I know this level like the back of my hand, so I kind of know. Ah, one bad guy. Now, he can see you from a tremendous distance away, okay? So in this case, he happens to be facing away from me, okay? So I was able to run up here, but if I had been running while he was, like right now, he's walking towards me, he'd have seen me and he'd have come over. So that's the kind of thing that the AI in this game is actually pretty good. The one thing that I would tell you is that he is on basically a path that goes in a triangle, okay? They all are. And the only time that they'll break from the triangle is if they're chasing you. And they will chase you forever, by the way. There's no breaking aggro if you run far enough away or if you make it back to base. They'll follow you right in a town. And a town battle is absolutely incredible. I kited, in order to get out of this level, you have to open up this gate. And the gate has... Alright, now we're going to just scooch in behind this rock here. And the gate has 4 guards guarding it, including like a super boss. I kited them back to my little town area that we just walked through there. And it was an amazing battle, man. We were like in between buildings and trying to fire at each other, and you're dodging their bullets. And, oh, it was so incredible. It was really neat. And then the bad guy, he actually stayed... Uh-oh, this might be a problem. As long as I stay crouched, we should be okay. He'll either see me when he turns, in which case this is going to get real interesting real fast, or I'm well enough hidden. Ah, nice. Alright, now we make our move. The wind is not blowing, so we're just going to sneak up on him. And we're going to melee him. Nice. One shot back in the head, no worries. And again, you're using a tomahawk. There are other things that you can pick up in the game to bonk people with, but the tomahawk is like sweet. I don't know if you can throw a tomahawk because this guy saw me and now we're in trouble. I don't know where he's going. Oh, here we go. All right, now he's gonna pistol me. That's why he was running up instead of... Nice! See, the pistols are close range, so you have to be, like, right on top of the thing. If you find 2 guys and you aggro them both, chances are you're going to be dead. It's incredibly difficult to take on 2 guys because they're both hitting you with arrows and or bullets at the same time. So you're dodging 2 sets of arrows or 2 sets of bullets, and that's like a death sentence. It really is. The last thing I think I'll show you is out here. This just kind of gives you an idea. So again, you get a water barrel, right, which is nearby a bunch of enemies so that, you know, if by chance you run into trouble, then, you know, you can actually... I think this is a good spot to show off the bow and arrow. And the reason why I took you out here is because if you miss, but you miss him long, he'll go over there to see what happened because it's a distraction. But I'm going to see if I can hit him from here. I'm going to anticipate that. No, that was way high. Now, you can get all of the... I hit him. I must have hit him in the chest, because he is bleeding, and... There. Oh, ow. Time to go to the water bucket. Get away. Nice. You can actually go pick up those arrows that you hit on the ground. And again, because we're in the black and white and red world, they will appear red. Now, granted, they're an arrow, so they're still difficult to see. If I drink this, full health. They are difficult to see, but you can go and pick them up. And again, because he dropped loot, if I walk over this, it did. It picked up that arrow, so that's sweet. But anyway, this has been Betrayer. I would highly recommend this to anyone who is interested, who enjoys a good stealth game, and who enjoys a good storyline. Because the characters in this thing, you really become attached to them. And it's really amazing. Like, some of them are murderers, but still at the same time, you're like, but you were kind of wiped out in this horrific event, so I kind of like you now. So that's going to be that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click the like button, share it with your friends, or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I'll see you next time.